We spend our lives building meticulous, predictable structures. We plan our careers, relationships, and futures. But pressure is invisible. Eventually, under enough weight, they fracture. When that happens, the instinct is to hide the damage. Western culture prizes the unblemished. We filter our digital lives and social interactions to remove any evidence of struggle, fearing that a visible crack marks us as defective. Psychologists often call this the Humpty Dumpty rule. It's the belief that a great fall leaves a person in a state of permanent ruin, that all the king's horses and all the king's shrinks are powerless once the shell breaks. Operating under this rule makes trauma a life sentence. We begin to see our emotional injuries as a baseline loss of human worth, assuming we are now worth less than the person we were yesterday. But consider a radical alternative. What if the damage actually multiplied an object's value? A structural break represents a forced invitation to transform. The impact creates the specific voids and edges necessary for a new, superior design to take hold. To heal from a crisis, we have to move past the goal of repair and toward a total redefinition of what it means to be broken. In the late 15th century, a Japanese shogun broke his favorite tea bowl and sent it to China for repairs. It came back held together by ugly industrial metal staples. At the time, the chinoyu, or Japanese tea ceremony, was the center of cultural life. These rituals demanded an atmosphere of focus and respect, making the preservation of treasured ceramics a point of high honor. Japanese craftsmen rejected the metal staples and instead developed a method of mending shards with urushi lacquer. They then dusted the wet seams with pure powdered gold. This birthed the art of kintsugi, or golden joinery. It is the physical manifestation of wabi-sabi, the active appreciation of things that are imperfect, impermanent, and worn by time. Kintsugi reframes the history of an object. The damage is no longer a flaw to be hidden. It is a celebrated event that proves the object's survival. The same logic applies to the human brain. Clinical research identifies this as post-traumatic growth, the process where individuals experience significant positive change as a direct result of struggling with a crisis. The engine of this growth is self-transcendence. Instead of fixating on the ego, the mind reorients itself toward a larger perspective, shifting focus from the isolated self to the world beyond. This begins with a cognitive shift. When a crisis shatters our assumptions about safety, we reframe our suffering. We stop viewing the pain as a private failure and start seeing it as a shared feature of human existence. Next comes an affective shift. By pursuing positive states like awe, flow, and compassion, we reduce the dominance of the negative emotions born from the trauma. Finally, a motivational shift occurs. We reject the urge to avoid the pain through numbing or escape. Instead, we use the experience to cultivate deep connection and new purpose through our relationships. These psychological shifts do not set instantly. They require gammon, the Japanese practice of quiet, patient endurance. Just as physical lacquer needs time in a human cabinet to harden, gammon provides the slow, steady persistence, allowing these new mental connections to bond. Self-transcendence is the psychological equivalent of kintsugi. It provides the higher perspective that acts as the gold, binding our broken pieces back together into a more expansive whole. The most powerful aspect of kintsugi is the choice to illuminate the damage. In this bowl, the repair is the focal point. The gold doesn't hide the shatter, it traces the exact path of the destruction, making the site of the break the most resilient and beautiful part of the design. This translates directly to our emotional health. Our struggles mark the specific points where we were forced to gather new strength. They are the coordinates of our resilience. The Humpty Dumpty view suggests that once you are broken, you are scrap. Kintsugi proves the opposite. The fracture lines offer a map of survival, turning the site of a collapse into the source of a more resilient architecture. Embracing these golden veins ends the exhausting pursuit of perfection. When you accept your scars as evidence of your capacity to mend, past failures lose their power to create anxiety. We are not ruined by our breaks. Like the kintsugi bowl, we are made more valuable, more stable, and more beautifully enduring because we were broken and chose to put ourselves back together.